Do they have a form that they're supposed to fill out? Do you have a computer system? What do you want them to do? How do you want that process to go? You need to clearly define with your salespeople what you want each one of these steps in that process to look like. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the importance of process when it comes to becoming an effective sales manager. For every single thing that you need to have done during the sales experience, you need to have a process around that. So let's talk about some of the high-level things. Let's start with, how does a customer engage with your dealership? For example, a customer could walk into the showroom floor. A customer could make a phone call. They could send in an internet inquiry. How do you deal with each one of these single aspects of how you engage with a customer? Let's maybe start off with a customer walking into the showroom floor. When somebody comes into the dealership, how do you engage? How does the salesperson engage with that customer? Does that customer end up at the reception desk? Do they go straight to the salesperson? What does that process look like? So let's say, for example, customer walks in, they end up at the reception desk. Reception pages for sales to come up to the reception desk because they have a customer. Your salesperson goes up there. What do you want that salesperson to do with that customer? How are they supposed to meet and greet that potential opportunity? How do you want them to interact with them? Is it, hey, welcome to ABC? Is it, hey, come with me, let's go back to my desk and we'll have a coffee? How do you want that interaction to go? You need to have in your mind what that interaction should look like, and now you need to put a process around that so your salespeople know what your expectation is. So let's say, for example, you expect them to go up to the reception desk, say, hey, my name is, welcome to ABC dealership, how can I help you today? And that's how you want them greeted. Great. What's the next step then? Customer will say, hi, I'm here looking for this particular model of car. Fantastic. Come back to my desk and we'll put together some information for you so I can provide you with what we have. How do you want that process to go? Do you want them to go back to the desk? Do you want them to go to the showroom and start showing vehicles? Do you want them to come to you to introduce that customer to you and saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Customer is here and they're here looking at ABC Auto? How do you want that process to go? Again, you need to define that for your salespeople. Then, once they've actually sat down with that customer, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to start presenting vehicles? Do you want to find out from the customer what they're in for? How much time do they have? What kind of vehicle suits their needs? What's their budget? Do they have a trade-in? How are they paying for this vehicle? Are these the kinds of things you want your salesperson to ask? If so, how do you want them to ask? Do they have a form that they're supposed to fill out? Do you have a computer system that you want them to input this information? What is that process like? So again, you as a sales manager need to think about each and every step in that process and how you want it executed. Once they've got the information that you need, are they supposed to go and show a vehicle, or are they supposed to come and see you to download the information that they've discussed with that customer and then get your suggestions on what the next steps should be? Then once they have an idea of what vehicle they're going to present, how are they going to present it? Are they supposed to bring the vehicle to them and then go around the vehicle first before they go on a test drive? Or do you just give the customer the keys and say, okay, have fun, let me know when you're back? What is that process like? When you get to the test drive, what does the test drive process look like? In my mind, it should be something where you again have a very clearly defined process. You have a route about where you want that salesperson to take the customer. Should be mostly right-hand turns, so it's easy for them to get back to the store. Doesn't have to be exceedingly long, and typically you want your salesperson to drive first, have a clearly defined changeover point where the customer can then take the wheel and experience the vehicle for themselves. I found that this is a fairly effective way for you to get a test drive done in a minimal amount of time, where the salesperson shows off a lot of the features of the car because they're comfortable with it, and then the customer gets a chance to drive that vehicle. Then, when they get back to the store, what do you want that process to look like? Is there a designated parking spot where you want the test drive vehicle returned? Do you want the customer and the salesperson to come back in a certain way? Do you want them to come back and talk to you saying, hey boss, we're back from the test drive? And what does that interaction look like? Again, you need to clearly define with your salespeople what you want each one of these steps in that process to look like. So let's say, for example, you want them to come back, park in a particular spot, and then have them come through your service department under the assumption that, hey, I found this customer the right vehicle, We know that they're going to buy it, and we want to get them excited about what the next step of that ownership experience looks like. So you're going to have the salesperson walk them through the service department with something like, hey, Mr. Customer, after you pick up your vehicle, you're obviously going to need to get servicing work done. This is our service department. My service advisors are amazing. They have great customer service, and they're going to look after you and your vehicle with all the needs that you have. So we bring them back to the showroom at that point, and then we start to work numbers. What does working numbers look like? There's so many different ways that you can present numbers. So you as a sales manager need to have that clearly defined. Are you going to give printouts of what different options are available? Are you going to just do it on a scrap piece of paper or somewhere in between? What is your process when it comes to presenting numbers? And where are you as a sales manager getting involved in that process? Do we leave everything up to the salesperson? Do you present the numbers? Or again, somewhere in between where it's a combination of the two? And then once you've presented the numbers, how do you close the deal? How do you finalize everything? What paperwork is required? What paperwork do you require your salesperson to fill out? What paperwork are you going to fill out? And then finally, once everything is done, how do you accept a deposit? What is the method for that? And then how do you move that customer into the finance office? So all of these steps in the process, you need to have clearly defined for yourself and for your salesperson. The reason for that is, number one, you're setting up a clear expectation of how you want your business to run. Secondly, you also have a way to gauge how is this person doing according to your benchmark. So if they're following what you need them to do, perfect. If they're not, you can train against that to get them to where you want them to be. So all of these things come together if you have a clearly defined process. If you don't, then you're just dealing with things as they come, and you're not going to be as effective, and you're not going to get to the targets that you want to get to. So process is hyper important. And we will talk about each one of the various processes in everything you do as a sales manager, and we'll get into nitty-gritty detail on all of them in future videos. But I want you to understand the importance of process. Talk soon. If you're getting value out of these videos, like and subscribe. Bye.